That's right. Trailers ahoy for Superman Legacy.
Just Superman.
That's right, because they did drop the legacy because James Gunn talked about how it implies like looking back, whereas this is a reboot and a fresh look in a way.
But as we have previously discussed, the legacy part does make sense because a lot of the heroes are legacy heroes.
That is true.
It's not the original Green Lantern. It's not the original, this Hawk woman or Hawk girl is in the shadow of Hawk man.
Yep.
And Mr. Terrific is the second Mr. Terrific.
Yep.
And the engineer is the second engineer. And who else?
Metamorpho?
He's a new guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's not a good example.
No, it's good. But also because this Superman, David Corenswet, is in the shadow of the other Superman.
That's right.
Yeah,
but he's bigger.
He's big.
He's the biggest Superman yet, apparently.
He's got big pants.
Yeah, he's got huge pants.
Yeah, huge pants.
Speaking of big, this is the biggest DC trailer of all time.
There you go.
Very positive reception. I really enjoyed this trailer.
Me too.
That being said, I have enjoyed every Superman trailer that's ever come out.
Right,
I think they're all really good.
Yeah.
And this one is up there. It's also different than all the other ones.
Yeah, now we have discussed this off air, believe it or not.
That's right.
But some things I think that I think were wise decisions. Number one, we see Superman beaten and bloody.
Because people are like, he's boring and he's invincible.
Exactly. You immediately show people that he's not. I thought that was cool. We see Crypto the Superdog and he's being a good boy.
Yeah, that's
I think
good.
people are going to respond to that.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I think the idea of that dog as well, it's a CGI dog, it seems, for the most part. It's based on James Gunn's dog that he rescued.
That's right, yes.
And apparently a lot of the footage of that and what the dog is doing is just taken from his iPhone and they just like translated it into this dog.
Yeah.
This is from James Gunn. He says, at the beginning of the trailer, Superman wants Crypto to take him home. So yeah, he calls Crypto and Crypto shows up and like drags him off. And he said, I think that this is a place where we can all go home to a character that we love, to the simplicity of morals and goodness and love that Superman embodies as a character. And then we can all go home this summer to Superman. I think it's something that can be good for us. He's talking about how he's trying to make this a movie that unifies people.
Nice.
Like a sense of, it's going to bridge all political spectrums.
Oh, nice.
And unite America.
James Gunn sees both sides.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which I respect.
That's great.
Because that's what I do.
Okay, so here's a few notes. Nathan Fillion, of course, is Guy Gardner. I think they've overcooked the hair.
I mean, it is what he looks like.
It is mostly what he looks like, although
I think you're just confused because you love the Rookie, and now you're seeing him as a slightly different character.
Maybe that's
so you went,
correct,
what's the Rookie doing here with a haircut?
Yeah. But I mean, he did have that exact haircut when initially as the Rookie. You know what I mean?
That is true.
When they hazed him, they gave him that haircut. But I also think probably by the end of the movie, he's going to have a new costume and he's going to tweak the haircut
because he doesn't look green.
Because he doesn't look green. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In the movie, he's in the scene we see him when he seems to be firing up a barrier around the building here in Superman area.
Yeah, do you think it's just to stop people from looking in?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a couple of shots of Isabella Merced flying in as Hawk Girl. She's got the mace out. That's cool.
That is cool.
We get Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, and there's a moment where he's using his T-spheres to generate a force field.
Yeah, man, because he's a bloke, isn't he?
Yeah. He's a regular bloke.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult, of course, is Lex Luthor.
He looks great.
He looks great. We get a good shot of the Luthor Corp building, which I really like because it's sort of... This trailer, I think, was pretty good at showing us, like, the identity of Metropolis.
Yes.
And how it's kind of big and utopian and kind of the Luthor Corp building. It's two buildings together and it's got this kind of central hub joining them together and it's got the big logo. But Luthor he's going nuts. He's loading a gun. He's crying at one point.
He's crying.
You know he's a true hater because it's brought him to tears. He hates Superman so much.
Well, apparently at the start of this, even though Superman's been around for a bit, they've never met.
Right.
But he's obviously aware of him and is already plotting against him. But Lois and Superman are familiar. It seems as if, and I'm guessing that she already knows that he's Superman.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene early. You see them...
In the Daily Planet?
You see them in the Daily Planet, and she sort of gives him a look, and then you see there's a scene later where they're kissing.
Yeah.
And I think they are already a couple.
Yeah.
But... they have to pretend they're not in the Daily Planet.
Yeah, okay.
Because they were in the same clothes.
Yeah, okay.
So if I had to guess. Now, here's one. I wouldn't bet money on it, but here's hoping. We see, of course, Superman fighting a giant kaiju.
Yeah.
And he's looking kind of turtley.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, because we see Skylar Gisondo in the teaser for the teaser as Jimmy Olsen, but he's not in this.
No, he is briefly. Yeah, you can see him for a second.
Well, I'm hoping, as is, if any director was going to do this, it would be James Gunn.
Yes.
To be like, have Jimmy Olsen
Starro,
eat a
so-
weird fruit or drop a sacred idol and get cursed and get turned into a giant monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think this might be the inciting incident of the movie.
I think so too. I think it'd be a fun start. Like
Yeah.
Superman defeats a big monster.
And I also think so. We've talked about, I think briefly. There's an action comic storyline. It's 2 issues called "What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way," which is where Superman comes up against the Elite, who are a team of like very high-powered superheroes who don't care about collateral damage and blah blah blah. And he has to show them there's a better way, kind of thing, by beating them up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's similar, like because the first time you see them, he is flying over to a city to stop a giant monster, but then it turns out when he gets there, they've already killed it.
Right.
So I'm wondering if this is, and there's also a scene in this trailer where people hate Superman and they're throwing stuff at him.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's because he doesn't want to kill this monster, but that all the Lord Tech team do.
Yeah.
And he comes to blows with them, and then all the people are like, there's so much collateral damage, we're so mad at you, Superman, kind of thing. But he doesn't want to kill this thing either because it's, a sentient being, or because it's Jimmy Olsen.
Sure.
So
I would like it to be Jimmy Olsen. I probably don't think it is.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
But then I don't know
Okay, now who do you think the guy in the black suit is?
that he fights.
Yeah.
I think it's some kind of like Lex Luthor creation.
Could be
Monster Man.
Or
a clone of Superman
because
or something like that.
it's a guy completely covered head to toe, full mask, which suggests there's going to be a reveal.
Exactly. Yeah.
He has what looks like a U on his chest, which would suggest he's Ultraman, who's the evil version of Superman
Probably
from another
Bizarro
dimension.
or something.
Well, it could be a Bizarro. It could be Parasite.
Oh yeah.
Because there's, again, in this trailer, there's a moment where we see, because Superman's being brought in, he's being arrested or something like that.
Yeah.
And we see there's a moment he's in a kind of a glass enclosure and there's other
Yes.
superheroes next to him. I think we see Metamorpho next to him. Maybe Lex Luthor has built a parasite to collect all the superheroes' powers so he can sell it to the government or something
Or
like
make
that.
his own whatever.
Yeah. So I think it might be.
I mean, Metamorpho might be part of that.
Yeah,
he
could be.
He can change his
Yeah, no, that's true.
structure or whatever.
Yeah, he might be a key ingredient. That's true. Yeah, so but because obviously the Snyderverse used General Zod and turned him into Doomsday, so I don't think it's that.
No, it's too early for Doomsday.
Superman and Lois recently used a Bizarro, so are they going to do that
true.
again?
That's a good point. Yeah,
maybe, I don't know, but I suspect probably a Parasite guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
We see what might be a Fortress of Solitude robot.
Yeah, I think that's what probably Alan Tudyk. If I had to guess,
could be Alan Tudyk. Yeah,
it seems as if like I'd imagine because he's the last he's a relic, the robot of Krypton, and like he would be upset if somebody came in and smashed it. There's another trailer that plays before Sonic 3 where you see Lex Luthor looks like going into the Fortress of Solitude, which he loves to do.
He does love to do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's interesting. James Gunn was talking about also how neither of them are the real person, but it's if you know Clark Kent and Superman, and that's who you know, then you know him fully. That's not like Clark's the real guy or Superman is the real guy. It's a blend.
There's a giant eyeball in space that's shooting lasers. I don't know what the deal with that is. Could be Solaris, could be somebody else.
Yeah.
What else we got here, James? There's a lot to talk about in this, I think.
Yeah. Well,
Baravia is there's a nation.
Yeah,
there's
the kid
turmoil
calling
in Baravia. Also, somebody's reading a newspaper, and I'll see if I can find it. A cop is reading a newspaper that talks about the hammer of Baravia. I think it's Gorilla Grodd.
My God!
I don't know if he's going to be.
Like
I don't think he's going to be in it.
Gorilla Grodd.
I don't think he's going to be in it necessarily, but I think that's probably just a little Easter egg for us.
I don't know. James Gunn's the kind of person who would put a giant talking telepathic gorilla in.
Also, he's in Creature Commandos.
There you go.
Or he's in a flash forward.
Yeah. Maybe it is Gorilla Grodd.
I think these are LexCorp troops because they're in green and purple.
As such, yeah.
What else?
Apparently the flying was shot with drones and stuff.
Ooh,
he said that doing action in the sky is difficult, but they're taking inspiration from Top Gun Maverick, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think nothing I really like, and it might just be for the trailer, but I really like the score. So it's John Murphy who did the Sunshine score, actually.
Oh, I see. I see how it is.
But it's obviously like shades of.
Still got to be the number one Sunshine fan. You've got to acquire your
I
points.
am, and I will be.
That's great.
John Williams, it's John Williams' score partially. It also sounds like there's some Hans Zimmer kind of influences in there, and also
maybe this guy just feeds a bunch of stuff into AI and gets what he wants.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it's good. Cool
yeah.
Too, yeah.
Also, like the guitar is very Top Gun theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, apparently he said this whole thing is influenced by Richard Donner, the excellent stuff Zack Snyder did, and specifically All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman has Parasite in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, for at least one.
When he goes into the prison or something?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay. A lot of stuff in that.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, that's sort of 12 very different kind of.
Yeah.
One other note. So in the various Superman continuities, sometimes both his parents are dead. Sometimes one is alive and one's not. Sometimes they're both around.
Yeah.
In the Snyderverse, Pa Kent has died, but Mark Kent is still around.
Yeah. We only see Pa Kent in this.
Yeah, we only see Pa Kent in this. So, of course, in Christopher Reeve's Superman, Pa Kent passes away because of a heart attack.
Yeah.
To prove that Superman can't save everybody. And in the Snyderverse, Pa Kent dies because a hurricane puts a telephone pole through his head.
Yeah.
Because he does that on purpose.
He does, doesn't
but
he?
in this, so maybe Mark Kent has passed away.
Yeah, maybe. I think she has been cast.
Okay.
Yeah, Neva Howell.
Yeah. But that scene looks like
it looks like something sad.
It's a scene of
happened.
grief.
Yeah.
Is what's going on there.
A
I don't know.
grief
I
scene.
prefer it when they're both alive.
Me too.
But,
And also, when they're both alive, you can kill them a few movies down the line.
so true,
and
isn't
then you're
it?
like, I love these guys.
Yeah,
oh, no, one died.
Yeah. Aunt May's still alive. You can just have a guy come from another universe and crack her head open or whatever.
You know what is interesting in this?
Yes.
They put the...
Are you saying none of that was interesting?
No, yeah, let's do a real thing.
Okay.
The trunks are here.
Yes, to stay.
And apparently the reason they put it in, because they tried all different versions, and it was David Corenswet who plays Superman, was like, well, he's an alien, he's got all these incredible powers. And that is like considered scary, but if he kind of dresses like a professional wrestler, then
like a
people are
dummy.
like, oh, this is like a fun
Yeah,
guy
sure,
and not
okay.
a terrifying man who can push over a skyscraper.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting choice. Also, I think, the moment where he gets hit with the can to the back of the head, I think like the implication there is that people still know that he's nice. Because I'd imagine a lot of the superheroes you couldn't do that to.
Couldn't do that to Homelander, for example.
That's right. Yeah,
He would lazy you.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting that that even though if you're angry at him, you know that he's probably not going to kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also, of course, we get this, I think, already iconic bit where Superman runs in and
Yeah, I
saves
love
the little
that.
girl. It's a good look.
So that's, have you seen the on-set stuff? That's practical. Not the explosion is practical, and there's like a green body in there which they remove, and then have him slide in. Like that was also from one location. And then
Yeah,
it looks really good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Pretty cool all
Pretty
around.
cool, man,
Anything
yeah.
else we missed here? Probably.
Do you reckon Crypto's taking him to the Fortress of Solitude?
I think
I would
so.
say yes.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think James can't even confirm.
Yeah.
Have you seen the design?
Or he just takes him on a walk, like his regular walk, and he's like, Crypto, no, not to the park, Crypto, I'm bleeding.
Have you seen the Fortress of Solitude look? Because it's on a poster.
Is it sort of grey
It's like-
stone?
No, it's like it's like a abstract kind of.
Ooh.
Show you, hang on.
I haven't seen it, James.
Yeah, it's in this poster, like a wave.
Oh, yeah.
of
It looks like
ice
maybe an
and
angel
crystal.
wing or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what vibe I'm getting on that. Yeah,
I like
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, what can we divine from this? I don't know.
there's probably.
I think it's
a
going to
bunch
be
of
elements
leaks.
from, like you said, All-Star Superman, a little
Yeah.
bit of What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. Or none of that. And
Dog
it's a big
stuff.
trick. Yeah.
Dog stuff.
Some dog stuff, almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah. Also, you know what? It's just time for something nice.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Don't you think it would be nice to
Yeah.
have a movie about a nice man
I think that would be nice.
who does nice things? I think that's, because we've had every,
Yeah.
like this past 20 years at least, we've had every version of like, what if Superman was this and what if Superman was real and what does that mean for whatever? And I'm sure there are elements
What if
of
he
that.
was fake and nice? This is what we're
Yeah, what
learning.
if he was fake and nice and he just showed up,
Nice.
when you needed
Hell
him to
yeah.
show up? Yeah.
Apparently, you see briefly the engineer in this. I didn't see her.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Was that the wide shot of the LexCorp? Because there was a tiny person.
Yeah,
I saw a
people are
tweet
walking
about
across the
that.
building. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's apparently her. But I couldn't. I simply couldn't zoom in enough, James.
The rumored budget for this was $363 million. I
don't think that's true.
No, well, James Gunn came out and said he wishes it was that much.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
because then we could have all taken $1 million and gone home.
Love $1 million. Yeah.
Man, this is looking real good.
It says he fights the engineer at some point up in the air.
Well,
So
good luck to.
Yeah,
He's got heat vision, all sorts of stuff.
Got all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah. Also, again, this made a really big splash.
Yeah,
Like, people
normies
are talking about it.
The normies are talking.
Normie people are talking about, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't guarantee that it's a hit. I mean,
No, I mean maybe everybody watched it and went, "This sucks." I hate cute little scruffy dogs.
no, I think the likes ratio is like quite high. So I mean, if they keep up this like marketing campaign and they just make people aware of it and it's not an oversaturation, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be $1 billion movie, but if it's good, I would say it'll hit at least 700-800 million.
I mean, maybe this is like Top Gun. Maybe people have been waiting several decades for another Chris Reeves-esque Superman movie.
I think
that isn't made by a sex criminal.
There is also
because there was one that was sort of Christopher Reeves-esque,
but it was made by a sex criminal. Yeah, I remember that, and it wasn't great.
No, it was bad. Also,
Had some
it was
good
boring
stuff in it, but yeah,
boring.
I think, and Superman and Lois was good, and I don't know. I mean, I know, like, you'll see people, like, in the Snyder Reddit or whatever.
Haters.
I mean, not all of them, but, like, I think there is a reluctance from, like, some people, but I think most people seeing this would go, oh, I haven't seen a Superman movie in a while. Mm-hmm. They're not aware of that he showed up in Black Adam and all the behind-the-scenes drama, and they vaguely remember Batman v Superman, and maybe they saw Man of Steel in 2013. Like, most normal people aren't like, we just had a Superman, I'd imagine. I think people don't know. That's true. And I think this is, this feels
also very
fresh.
wise. They put in, from the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. And again, it's that from what we can, from based on box office, there are people who just have watched those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of the general Marvel movies box office dipped.
Yeah.
But when Guardians 3 came out, a lot of people came back to that. So I think there's just people who are in favor of more of that. And this gives you Guardians vibes. It's colorful. It's got a lot of interesting elements to it.
Weird characters and such.
Characters, yeah.
Absolutely. I am very excited for
this.
Would you
say you're hyped?
Yeah. I showed my son, or both my kids, but I probably won't take my daughter because she's a bit young. But they loved it.
Great.
And just the idea that, like...
So you're showing it to your daughter and you're saying you're too young, though.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, if I see it and I think it's fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, my son, like, lost his mind when, like, the dog showed up. And he called it before, as he saw, like, the dog running in.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell what it is. He was like, that's crypto or whatever. He loved it. So I think... And I think that, and again, it's only my kid who's exactly like me.
Right, yes, exactly.
But I think this will resonate with kids as well. I suspect.
And I think, and we've talked about it again, Top Gun, how like, the sequel brought in a lot of dads. I imagine those dads brought their kids.
Totally.
Probably dads brought sons who brought their sons.
Yep.
All men. It was all men.
It was all men.
But I think probably a lot of people who liked Superman when they were kids are going to bring their kids. So maybe that's the key to this.
I also like that.
Or it's going to be a huge flop.
Yeah, I don't know. It could
now
be.
we isolate those. We have them ready.
Yep.
And however this does, we put it out there and we said we called it.
We knew.
Yeah.
We knew and we're glad.
That's right.
I think it's also smart that he's not a known actor. Not that Henry Cavill wasn't, Brandon Routh wasn't, Christopher Reeve wasn't. I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I think, they've named actors in this role, I think, is not a good play because then you.
And we don't know that because we've never had a George Clooney or a Brad Pitt Superman, have we?
Well, we've had a George Clooney Batman, but yeah. But no, I think it's. I think also you can kind of get lost in the character more.
True.
If it's.
Yeah.
It feels like somebody you don't know.
I've just remembered. Where's Rooker? Where's Michael Rooker?
Voice of Robot.
Might be Voice of Robot.
Yeah.
Hey, Superman.
I'm Voice of. He would be a good Park Ken, actually.
I'm dying, Superman. Superman, I'm dying. Save me, Superman.
Do you think he would have been a good Park Kent? I mean, that would have been similar to the Yondu thing in Guardians. I guess that's why you wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he'd give him a weird comic book character role.
Yeah.
Because he likes doing that to him.
Maybe he's in the Ultraman suit.
Maybe he is in the Ultraman suit. Anyway, July.
Hey, I'm Ultraman.
Get me out of this Ultraman suit.
Yep.
July 11th. But also, this comes out around like Fantastic Four, and I think there's a Jurassic World movie, so it could get knocked back a bit because of that.
Yep.
We'll have to see, though.
We'll have to see, though.
And if it does get knocked back, we called it. But if it doesn't, we also called that.
That's right, yeah. On schedule and coming in hot.
You know it. Should we move it along?
Let's move it along.
All right.